Wish we could turn back time to the good old days when the mama sang us to sleep, but now we're stressed out. Wish we could turn back time to the good old days when the mama sang us to sleep, but now we're stressed out.
to Ethan, Jeremy, are we ready at home?
You guys turn your mics back on? Live? You're live?
And then let me know when we have Zoom on at home all set up.
All right, well, officially, good morning again, everyone.
No, seriously, everybody, thanks for attending. We love you. Thank you so much. Okay, you want to get started, today's meeting?
Let's do it. So what's the big headline out there, guys, right now for us realtors? NAR updates.
Raise your hand if you heard about NAR in the lawsuit. Everybody. Okay. It's big. There's news everywhere, and it's being thrown around in so many different ways, shapes, and forms. So we're going to kind of dial in what we think is happening. So if you read the news and the articles, how many billions of dollars was Gary Keller and the Home Services America supposedly being fined? 1.7. Give me that catch box. So tell us and everybody at home, how much money did the jury come back and verdict for?
1.7 billion.
1.7 million. Billion.
Yeah.
Up to 5.7 billion is what the jury is saying the damages are going to be. So does anybody know what that antitrust lawsuit is about? Commissions. Pass the box down to Mary. Tell us, Mary. We're going to get you live today.
You want me to tell you? Okay, so they're getting sued over commissions, saying that the seller shouldn't be paying for the buyer's commission as well as the listing agent's commission. That's
correct. So the seller paying the buyer's agent's commission is against the antitrust laws. But where Gary Keller, Keller Williams, Home America, and franchisors, where they're really getting beat up in this lawsuit is they were conspiring and telling their agents. That's like me coming up to our group right now and saying, Christian, if you go on a listing appointment, you cannot accept it for less than 6%. And you have to charge 3% for you, and you have to charge 3%. They wrote it in their team agreements. They wrote it in their contracts years and years and years ago. And it was a lot more of the franchises that did this. Do I agree with the way they were conducting business? Yes and no. It's a very muddled situation because of how commissions are being broken down and distributed. They're saying that the seller's paying all of the commissions, but if you go and buy the home for $400,000 and the seller's getting all of that money, the buyer's actually contributing to the commissions as well. So it's a very finicky situation. Now, what do you think is going to happen next? So they just did that. The verdict is in. They're going to. Okay.
Yeah, I was going to say 3 years of legal appeal so that lawyers can run their fees up, and then it's just going to be a pretty drawn out process, if I had to guess.
3 years of a legal appeal, draw the process out.
Yeah.
Possibly. That's a pretty good time frame. We've been seeing this move a little bit quicker, though, than we thought. We didn't know this verdict was going to be in front of us already. So it could potentially drag out a year. It could drag out 2 years. It could drag out 3 years. Okay? When it does come to a final, how does it affect the market and the industry and us? What's going to happen? What are they saying this is really going to be the disruptor for buyer's agents and sellers? Buyer-broker agreements should be in place because you want to make sure your buyer stays with you and it outlines the commission you're going to make. But what else? Well, they're saying that the seller doesn't have to pay the buyer's agent commission anymore. Okay, so if somebody comes to me to list their house, they can go, Aaron, I'll pay you 3% to list my house, or I'll pay you 1% to list my house. I'll pay you a flat fee to list my house. It's still negotiable between me and the seller. But what I'm not going to do, Aaron, is I'm not going to pay the buyer's agent a dime. Zero. So the co-op in the MLS is not 3%, not 2, not 1, 0. So what happens? You get a buyer, Scott, and you're like, hey, I'm going to show you this beautiful house. You want to write an offer, but the commission's 0. You're going to have to pay me. So now the buyer has to come in with $10,000 to pay you for your commission. Can you negotiate a $10,000 commission with your buyer?
Absolutely. Everything's negotiable.
I hope so. But if you can't and don't have the skill set, you might not make a dime, right? And then it puts a lot of pressure onto the buyers because the buyer's got to come in with an additional $10,000 now to buy that house. What happens with a VA buyer? VA buyers aren't supposed to be paying commissions. They don't even pay transaction fees. So now there's a lot of turbulence on like, what are we going to do in the lending? How is that going to impact the buyer? How are you guys going to sell your services to make sure that you guys get paid? Like that's a big deal. And then all the commissions could potentially start coming down. That's the big fear and everything. My listing commission's a flat fee, 1%. You guys are making 1%. You know who's making out in this whole thing? The seller. The seller doesn't have to pay much more money than anything. Now the buyers and the lenders and everybody else are going to be scrambling to figure out exactly what we're going to do. So later in our sales meeting today, we're going to give you a little information to be proactive, to give you guys some ammunition on how to be a professional with your buyers. If you're not already doing this, you should do it, okay? Will this happen in 3 years? Possibly, okay? For right now, what I do know is everything remains the same. Buyers and sellers are selling real estate. We're the group that's going to help them. We're going to collect our commissions. Everything's fine. When and if this changes and gets a little bit crazy, it's okay. New doors, new opportunities always arise, right? This is something that's been in the making for years and years and years. It's starting to come to fruition. Just keep your head down, stay focused. Don't read everything that you see out there in those articles, and then we'll go from there. And we'll always be ahead of it. We always have been, we always will be. We'll create new financing types. We'll be here to tell you how to work with the buyers, how to work with the sellers. There's no way all of our commissions are going away and we're all going out of real estate. But there's some tech companies and a lot of money being thrown around right now that are making this a disruption. It's like Uber coming in and taking over taxi cabs is kind of how I look at it. But there's still tons of opportunity out there, and it's just the way of the world. Any questions on this NAR subject? I'd be more than happy to answer them for you.
I also want to add, even though this could be years in the making to have a final situation for us, the perception is already here, right? So now it's even more important to have those tools and those tips and those tricks in your back pocket to be able to combat these when you're having conversations. And listen, at the end of the day, knowledge is power. So the more you know, the more confident you're going to be to have those conversations. So right now, just like every year, something happens in the market, we just need to combat it and understand it and work through it, okay? So
For sellers bringing this up now already, are you guys seeing it? Listing appointments and
the
stuff?
perception is there, 100%.
So you took the words out of my mouth. It's all over the place.
Yes.
You can't go anywhere without seeing this article being posted. I haven't been on a listing presentation this week to go see if that's like, hey, what's going on with NAR and how can I save money? Like that's going to be the next conversations you guys are going to have with sellers. But I think that's going to start immediately. But then you got to talk like Zach, hey, it's 3 years out, there's an appeal, it's a disruptor, but nothing's changed in real estate yet. We'll see how this goes.
It's also about choosing, go ahead.
You could probably even say, back in mind. Go ahead.
Yeah, it's about choosing the right language, right? So Scott, if you're my seller, Scott, I charge 5%. That 5% is for my marketing. It's for managing offers for you. It's having an idea what the heck's going on in your neighborhood at every corner. And a part of that 5% that I charge, I'm going to give it to another agent so they bring us the buyer, which is the ultimate goal here. So it's about changing the language. I charge this, and this is what I'm going to do with that 5%. I choose to give Zach 2.5% because I want to incentivize him to bring us that buyer and that offer.
Mr. Seller, if your co-op is 0, but there's a house down the street at 3%, who is going to get the offer first? Right? This is the conversations on listings you guys are going to have to start having, probably a little earlier than later, but it will all pan out. We're going to be just fine, right?
Love it.
Okay,
Any
cool.
questions?
Any other questions? Chat box me. Oh, all right, cool.
So we want to go over Zillow Academy. Who in the room has taken Zillow Academy and completed it? Okay. So for those who haven't, we have a wonderful account here at the Alessi Realty Group, and that's the Zillow Flex Partnership Program. okay? So the Zillow Flex Partnership Program is something that we have our hands in very deep, right? It's a lovely account. We get leads from Zillow. They get a referral success fee from us. We manage it. We listen to these live connection calls, etc. It's a lot of wonderful lead flows coming through that. If you want to be considered for that program, the first step is taking the Zillow Academy. If you have no interest in being part of that program in the future, we highly suggest you take this Zillow Academy anyways. These are the best practices from the top dog Zillow on how to convert, right? We all need extra help to get people to the finish line, choosing the right language, finding your confidence. So it's all of their best practices. So it is already an element. There's a nice video in there for you to show you how to access it, how to screenshot it to let us know, leadership, that it's been completed. And if it's something you want to learn more about in regards to the Zillow Flex program, we're your people to find out more information from. So just book a time with us.
It's not just about leads, like
Yeah.
handing you guys leads. It's not about that. It's about training you properly on what's going on to convert buyers, just period in general. Like, you should take it just to get your skill set up. The second part, which is amazing for all of us, those live connections, those leads we do get, they're fire. They're the best leads we can see in the market right now. 2020 and 2021, we're getting anywhere from 200 to 250 leads a month. Market changed. We only see 700 listings hitting the market, not 1,400. When you're seeing 1,400 listings hitting the market, there's more leads and there's more connections. So what we want you guys to do is take the academy, learn it for yourself, and then secondly, you come and contact me when you're done. I'm going to put you through a quiz. If you pass the quiz, then you go on our bench and you're available to receive leads when our volume increases. So we're at 80 connections right now. Then we go to 90, 100 to 150. I'm going to say, hey, come on in. We need some more people in order to jump in and take connections with us. So it's a long-term game plan as well. Cynthia.
I tried to get into the video yesterday and it wouldn't let me in.
Okay, it's probably because of some other videos not being completed, but we can grant you access. So just Slack Val and she'll let you know.
Okay.
So it's in there, guys. It's ready for you to take a look at. The quiz is in there. Some of you guys are already in the program. Some of you guys are saying, hey, I want to give it a try. So get started as soon as you can.
Any questions? Hey.
Cool beans.
Awesome. So Annie, hi. Love that you're here, Miss Annie. So Annie and Mike England, we're so excited to announce that we finally have a NetSheet app exclusive to us. So yay! Thanks for getting that done.
All right. All right.
This is also going to be on Element. We're going to email these links out as well. It's very easy to use. This is what the app looks like. So when you go search on your phone or your mobile or your desktop, you're going to put RE NetSheets. There's going to be an activation code. Again, we're going to send this information out to you. Mike England from Landmark Meadows is actually teaching a class in 2 weeks on how to utilize this to its fullest potential. In the past, we've been sending information to Annie, purchase price, client information, address, commission costs. She's been breaking it down and providing a net sheet. Now you can do it on the go. So you would use this, let's say you have a listing appointment tomorrow, you're preparing your package, you're gonna find out how much they owe on their mortgage before you head over there, and you can input everything on your app and print out a beautiful PDF for them that you'll take with you, okay? Same thing goes for your buyers. They wanna write an offer on a house. We need to make sure they understand how much is coming out of pocket at the end. You can do it on the fly, okay? Estimated net sheets at your disposal, so we're so excited to finally have this app. Yes,
Yeah,
Miss Cynthia?
thank you.
Are we eventually going to be able to do our own lists, like radius search or whatever, too, on Landmark?
Not on the app.
Oh,
Yeah, this is specifically for net sheets, but you're talking about farming.
correct.
Yeah, we'll discuss that more.
I'm not 100% sure because I just downloaded it. I'm waiting for Mike to do a training for us, but I think you can start like say, hey, this house down here, how much is owed on it? Who's the owner? When did they purchase it? Stuff like that, along with the net sheets are in there. So it's not a farming tool, but it gives you information about other addresses. And do you guys all have net sheets already downloaded from other places or no? Yeah. You do? Okay. So yeah, we want to get this one over to you and download it and take a look at it. And It's very useful, especially on the fly in front of clients and everything. You're going to want to have it for buyers and sellers.
Yes.
So you're
Super
right.
user-friendly, too, and
Absolutely.
beautiful interface. That app is very nice. I downloaded it and went through it with Mike a little bit.
Okay.
Ahead of time. It's really, really nice.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Provides a really nice PDF.
Okay.
Here's an example of what a PDF looks like that you can hand off to your clients. Right?
And you usually, so I had a net sheet similar to this back in the day. When I go on a listing presentation, I would do it right on the phone with them and say, okay, you want a net X? They're like, perfect. They're like, can I see it? I text it to them and they save it right there and they open it up on their phone. Super slick. So you got to have that for your presentations.
Awesome. Any questions? Moving on, we have some special shout outs. Look at these superstars from October. We have Sam, Mary, and Greg. Guys, look at these closed volume amounts with total GCI, which is so wonderful for the agent, for the brokerage. They killed these leads. And congratulations. What a successful month.
So hey, let me jump in. So I want to go to Greg. He has 3 closed units for $3,785,000 in volume with a $66,000 in gross commission income for the group. And that's a round of applause to you when everybody's talking about, go ahead, light them up. When everybody's talking about down market, oh, production's down, there's still people closing deals left and right. And that's what you got to keep focused on and positive. We wanted to ask you, those 3 transactions came from what lead sources for you?
So the first one was Tony from Flex about 18 months ago.
18-month nurture.
Came through a text, and best part is identifying. Knew that guy was a buyer. That's important to know up front who's a buyer, who's not. And it just took time and time. I picked him up 15 times, and finally I wrote. He specifically wanted to be on the street, so I wrote letters to everybody on that street. Got a response. Got the listing side, got the buy side. Annie was huge in that, like I talked before, because it was shaky ground at the end for sure, and we got that done. And then the other one was a client's 4th deal that I did with them, and just that was a lead from, I don't know, Mike and Robin. It had been 7 years ago, and bought and sold and bought and sold. And
your follow-up game's strong.
yeah, they're good, and they're great people. They're friends, and it's awesome. They moved to St. George, but they're good people. And yeah, it's just
Long-term nurture,
that's
repeat
it.
client.
Reach out. On Thanksgiving when you're watching football, text 20 people. Just say Happy Thanksgiving. Because my fall game isn't awesome. There's people that are better at it, but it's just reaching out every once in a while.
Have you done that before, Greg, where you've identified a community and then just blanket mailed it?
I have. This was the first time it's really been successful, though.
Okay.
And it's funny. There was 25 houses there, and this was the worst one on the street. They were in California. That was the one where the father passed away during the transaction and all kinds of stuff. But it makes it easy when you have a client that knows specifically what they want. And he wanted that street and only that street. So you can blow people up.
And can I mention, this is an experienced seasoned agent who's going above and beyond. How many agents do you think would have stopped with, oh, there's nothing on the MLS? And that would have been their stopping point. Greg said, absolutely not. I'm going to go find that seller that's willing to sell me that house for my buyer.
Well, that's above and beyond of what a normal agent would do, but there's a reason why he's been in the business 20 years and it continues to see success because he does stuff like that, right?
The paycheck help also.
Yeah. But if you want to last and you want to make it through all kinds of markets, you have to do unique things. And Greg did unique things and he had a lot of success.
Great job, Greg.
Yeah. Good job to Greg. Yep. Okay, we're going to move on to the next slide right now.
Let's do it.
We're going to jump into the Marketwatch. Quick national numbers, and then we're going to jump into what's happening locally right now, okay?
All right.
So let's jump into the national.
Yeah, so I wanted to hit on affordability because that's the biggest topic, the biggest headline right now for buyers, right? So this first graph, you're going to see this black dotted line here. What that dotted line is signifying is someone who gets a medium price wage, right? The medium price income coming into their house and can afford a medium price home, right? So you can see this is going all the way from January 2022. Affordability, we were hot and heavy. We can afford houses. Now look where we're at right now, okay? The biggest factor of that is interest rates. I never thought I'd be in a position from where we were 2 years ago, hoping to see a 6 in front of an interest rate, because that will definitely help shape things in favor of the buyer. Okay, this next slide, this blue line right here is where wages have been trending. So you can see, and this goes all the way back from 2006, with inflation and the natural uptick of the economy, we have a natural movement upwards in wages. But look what's happened recently. That trajectory is up a lot more. So we're hoping to continue seeing that to help combat with this affordability issue, because it's real and it's out there. So we need to get creative with our buyers.
Yeah. Fun fact, who knows how much a house was back in the boomer years, say 1980?
You have to move the slide.
20, 10, 80, it was $45,000. 2023, same house, quote unquote, $450,000. Okay, what was the wages, a household income back in 1980 averaging? 20 grand. Household income now, $56,000. You see the discrepancy here? Wages haven't went up that much, but home values 10 times the amount they were before. So the affordability index is a big issue. Inflation's an issue, interest rates are an issue. So that's why it's getting more difficult for buyers to purchase a home right now. As we see these kind of things soften up and gets more affordable, then it's going to open up a lot more buyer demand, because the buyers are out there, they can only purchase so much because of their household income.
Right. And I also...
Would you agree that like maybe an offset on the affordability, we talked about this, is that transfer of wealth, you brought it up actually, from the baby boomers on down to kind of the millennials right now, and you said there was like 10,000 baby boomers dying a day, which I checked and it's true. And obviously that's a massive, it really is, 3.5 million a year, it's the biggest demographic, it's crazy.
Wow.
But anyways, that money's transferring down to those millennials, which is that demographic, that's first-time home buyers, and you were kind of saying hopefully that's like a good offset. I just thought it was a good point.
It has to be. I mean, that's the next wave of buyers, right, are the millennials. They're inheriting money. They're picking up jobs from the boomers passing away, unfortunately. So yeah, that's where a lot of the people are going to come from. And if the wages aren't quite there yet, hopefully that's going to be something that kind of bridges the gap. That's what we want there. What is so funny? I got to hear. No, I'm just messing with you.
So we need to look at the obituaries and look at
Yeah. See, that's what I thought she was
Above
going to
and
say.
beyond.
Yeah.
I love it.
Start writing letters.
I love it.
I know this is a bad time to call you, but
Yeah.
try doing that.
That's the way.
If you ever worked in a divorce case or divorces with an attorney, similar conversations like that, they are tough, but they still need your help, right? They still need your help.
That's a big point. They do need help at that time, and you can offer them help, and the approach is critical.
Yep.
But as long as you have empathy and you're genuinely offering them help, you don't have anything to feel bad about.
Greg, you can run our obituary script class and role play next week, okay? We got a whole new lead source out of this today.
I love it.
All right.
Love it. So one of the things that Fannie Mae has announced to help combat affordability, if you have a buyer, for instance, that just cannot afford 10% down, 15% down, single family home, an option is for them to do multi-dwelling, so a duplex, a triplex with only 5%. And Jen, correct me if I'm wrong, that used to be 25%?
Yeah, as long as they're purchasing one as their primary residence.
Yeah, so they would have to live there. They also get supplemental income on the other two or the other single one that they can rent out. So again, it's all about getting creative for buyers, because at the end of the day, you're going to have buyers that have to buy a house. You're going to have sellers that have to sell their house. And it is our job to consult them and get creative to make it happen for them. And with that being said, I also want to announce that Aaron and I secured a really big investor for the Alessi Realty Group. Between the two of us, we have about 200 listings right now, with more to come. And what's exciting about that guy, to have these in our back pocket in-house, is a lot of these our owner will carry. Who here has done an owner will carry transaction? Clarissa, Eli, so only 4 of us. I would say a lot of agents may see this on the MLS, get scared because it's new, we don't understand it, and we put push our buyers somewhere else because we just don't understand it. I'm actually in escrow on one right now about to close on Friday, and it's been a very seamless process. So owner will carry, the seller will finance the buyer with their own terms. So let's say it's 7.5% interest rate, paid in 5 years with 20% down payment. Maybe your buyer can't get a traditional loan. Maybe they wrote off too much in taxes. Maybe there was a gap in employment, right? This is another option for them to get into a house. So we have a big portfolio. So if you get stuck with buyers, make sure you're looking at our listings. Yes. Annie, you can assist with owner will carry transactions?
Yep. So a couple things to know. We have 200 listings that are in our name right now. We got another 100 listings coming over. Out of the 200 listings that we have, 185 of them are tenant occupied with the owner will carry option or a 30-day easy buyout on the lease that removes the tenant and the buyer can come in. So the investor that we're working with came up with these creative terms. If you can't get a traditional loan, like Valerie said, owner will carry will be the best option. So if you're seeing our listings, you go to the agent-to-agent remarks and click the MLS doc tab, and it'll break down the description of everything we're talking about here today, and it'll give more buyers more options to purchase these homes. All of the homes are listed at fair market value, but tenant occupied. We will give concessions too. 1% will go to a buy down on their loan if they're doing a traditional loan. So we've already worked all this out with the investor. Those listings are already in our name. You can check them out. We could potentially do owner carries with Annie, and the investor has a lender doing the owners will carry paperwork as well. So we just refer you over to Tony. Tony does the OWC, and it gets recorded with any escrow company, preferably Landmark at that point. Okay, so it's a good opportunity. We're going to generate some buyer leads, obviously, from it, feed it to the team. And then we have options for you guys to put buyers in homes that you didn't have yesterday. Someone said, I can't finance that house, man. Interest rates are too high. I just don't have the FICO score. It's a 600. I can't get mine. Say, well, I might have an owner will carry option for you. Let me explain what it is. And I'll look at Aaron's listings, and here's a property that you can buy. Because if you search the whole MLS right now for owner will carries, there's not a lot, but we got like 200 of them. So, you know, we feel like we got to leverage this one way or another right now. Make sense? Questions?
No, a few things on those. Where owner carry is very relevant is on land as well. I'm doing one right now. Great interest rates. You can get better than the 7.5s in that. Like I'm in at 3%, balloon doing 6, but you need to figure out what the amortization schedule is, to where basically movement helped me out with that, and we amortize it over 15 years. The balloon's doing 6. That means your monthly payment, they break it down with principal and interest, because if you amortize it over 2 years or 5 years, your payment's going to be 10 times as much. So make sure that gets done when you're looking at owner will carries.
Yep.
And it helps with the seller owning it free and clear. And a lot of times you can get a lot better interest rates. So right now, you rarely see it on stuff that's $500,000-$600,000. Your $1 million, $2 million properties, they usually own free and clear a lot of places, and they can do some ownable carries, especially in this market. But that is an option that is real clean. They have a servicer that West Star right over by Palace Station that handles everything where the payments go to. It shows on the credit report, so it can build credit for clients. It's a good option. Look at it if somebody sees ownable carry. A lot of times they want a big amount of money down. That's one of the things you got to look at.
Yeah.
So
It's usually around the 20% down payment. Is pretty typical. Depending on the buyer, you could probably negotiate it. Seller said we could. The other takeaway is get somebody in that house today. It doesn't mean they can't refinance into a traditional loan, right, in like a year or two from now. So
that's
it's
the goal.
get them in.
That is the goal.
Get that balloon paid off. And my guy's buying land to build a house, so they'll go to movement for the construction loan, which pays off that. You know, so the 6-year balloon is crazy. I would never go that long. If I'm representing the seller, it's 2 or 3 years because they want the money. But we were happy to take that. But then he can take his time, build his house, get all that paid off. In a traditional, like your 200 listings, you're just waiting for hopefully by the election to go down to 5%.
Yeah.
You can can refinance that.
Yep.
You're in a 30-year fix.
Exactly. And then buying now, you're buying at a lower value. You get into it now, values go up, you get a better interest rate, and you got 30, 40 grand of equity sitting there. Again, more talking points for people when you're on the phone with them that could potentially be hesitant about buying right now.
I have another seller right now, 340 is the list price. We had a cash offer come in at 320. That buyer only had 320. He got it from a settlement. Couldn't get a traditional loan because he had a gap in employment. So I talked to my seller and we're like, well, why don't we do owner will carry for the $20,000? And you set it at your terms and the conversation is still going. But you see it just wasn't a brick wall. It's like, let's get the 20,000, the 320 in cash. Owner will carry the 20,000. You'll get it paid off in 2 years. Those were our terms. Or within those 2 years, that buyer is able to get a traditional loan because they're back at a salary job, and then they just pay my seller off in full. You just want to keep thinking of ways.
Smart.
Your guys'
Very
investors,
smart.
What is he at? Is he standard on his interest rate, or does he daily?
We start at 8%, but we can negotiate.
He
that.
starts at 8%. He said 20% down, and he said he'd be negotiable. We've seen a few offers, and he wasn't great on negotiations at some of those things. Depends on what it is. So tread with caution.
Down, he would get more aggressive.
He would. So it all depends on like the whole deal in one shape or another.
So, what kind of risk does a seller have doing an owner pay?
They don't.
What
So.
if they don't pay?
So if I'm the seller and I'm doing owner will carry with you and you default, I stay on the lien and so I get the house.
You actually get deeded off, and I
Reserve
keep the
bonds.
20%, the 100 grand you gave me to initially get into the deal. So, so I take your money and run.
Does he utilize these loan servicing companies, or does he not want to use them?
I'm not sure. We got to actually look into it. We haven't checked on servicing yet.
Westar is the big one that I've done.
There's Westar and then U.S. Loan Services.
yeah.
He-
So it protects the seller and it also protects the buyer. So it protects the seller if the buyer passes away, or if the seller passes away, and it's just like an uninterested third party
Yeah.
to make the payments for.
Yeah?
So-
Oh, well, we definitely got to check into that.
So you have a 4% rate as a seller, you're giving 6 or whatever to a buyer. That 2% gap, U.S. Loan Services or Westar will send you those proceeds.
Yep.
Right? And then they'll pay the mortgage for the seller.
Exactly. Yeah, a lot of little cool ways to get deals done. Yeah. All right, so I'm gonna jump into today's market conditions. Some of you guys come to Winter Circle and hear it. Sometimes I just bring it up and go through this pretty fast, but I want to go through a couple things. When was the last time we saw total inventory at 5,000? Let's throw the catch box over to Raina for a minute. Raina, stand up for a second, okay? If you can't do this with me, you can't do this with clients. When was the last time we saw 5,000 homes on the market or more?
Last year.
Last year. So what's happening with inventory right now?
It is increasing.
It is increasing, and this is the total SFR. In Las Vegas, 3,800 SFRs are out there. Raina,
Yes.
is that a lot of single-family homes for Las Vegas?
That is our stable market. That's the norm right now.
That's the norm, but is that a lot of inventory for Las Vegas?
No.
It's not. What's a lot of inventory in Las Vegas?
Double that.
Exactly. This should be at 10,000. This would be at 9,000, or I'm sorry, 6, 7, 7,000. That's a buyer's market. We're still not in a buyer's market. We are still in a deep seller's market, even though things are slowing down. Now, Raina, 738 new listings just hit the market in the last 7 days. Is that a lot of listings? Is that a difference in the last month or two?
Not a big one. It's around the same mark that we've been seeing trending all year.
We've been seeing this trend about 700 the entire year. A couple months ago it was about 600, then it went 650, then it went 7, now we're almost at 750. So we're seeing the inventory come to market, but it's nothing crazy. Buell in 2021, if it was 700 homes hitting now, how many homes were usually hitting the market per week then?
We were doing roughly double that, 1,400, 1,250, 1,400 in 2021. We were getting up there. And those are moving fast, right? So they're coming on, they're moving fast now. They're coming back, but they're moving a little slower.
Correct. There is half as much inventory hitting the market now than it was in 2021. Okay? So what we're seeing with the inventory going up, we're seeing the buyer demand do what right now? Anybody tell me what the buyer demand's doing? We got some of this stuff going on. Why is the buyer demand slowing down right now? I need at least 3 options before I move on. Clarissa, 1. The holidays, seasonality, baby. It always slows down about the holidays a little bit, right? What's another thing slowing down some buyers right now?
Interest rates.
Interest rates, which is going to be affordability. And somebody give me the third one. What's slowing them down? Fear. What's going on in the market? Is the market going to crash? Market is not going to crash, in my opinion, because we have almost no inventory. So this is just where we are right now. A little bit slower on the buyer demand, more increased new listings, which gives opportunities for concessions, opportunities for open houses, opportunities for people to get creative so they can go under contract and then sold. Mary, math equation. What is 600 times 4? 2,400. 2,400.
Let's do that too.
Okay. Okay. Let's try this one. Dunmeyer, I'm going to take you back to 2021. How many properties were selling month over month in 2021?
Jeez, Beal's trying to dump me. Sorry, what was you said? How many were selling in 2020?
Month over month.
About 3,000 or so. Is that right? Am I just maybe like 4,000? I'm a little bit off. Oh no.
Right in the middle. Right in the middle of that.
25?
No,
35.
35.
Okay, 35. I don't remember, bro. That year was a blur for me.
He blacked out during that year.
Yeah, he blacked out. It's okay.
What we call walking around in the target. We're going to get there.
Yeah, I don't know, bro. That year, I hardly remember.
So right now we have 2,400 homes selling per month. That's still healthy, guys. Plenty of deals to be made for us. In 2021, it was 3,500. The reason I'm bringing that up is because this is normal and stable for us now. When we see a shift of inventory and the low interest rates come in, you'll see all of this stuff should double and still keep us in low inventory at the same time. That's what we've been through before. That's where I'd see this house market flipping to. But until then, everything is going to remain the same, right about these numbers. Any question about where the market's going this year or next year?
I have a quick question.
Yes, sir.
Does these numbers, do they include new homes, or is this just like what's on the MLS?
This is just MLS.
Gotcha.
If you went into new construction and did a search, you'd see an additional 1,500 new construction properties are available for purchase. Mr. Martin.
My investor is aggressive right now on good assets, 375, playing for the projection of next year, summertime, election, where rates can come down. We're firing 25, 30 grand low. Some people are going to be desperate to get sold right now to where they're going to have a good amount of equity and also playing that the market's going to, if those rates come down, every number comes down and those prices go up.
How many people you think are waiting for the election to happen and interest rates to come down?
A lot.
60% are sitting on the fence right now.
They're going to pay 50, 60 grand more.
And they're potentially going to regret that. They're going to regret that. Next slide, Vader.
My investor will kill it.
So just to keep time moving right now, this is the trends that I was talking about, where the total inventory increased from last month. 500 homes. Last month, 2 month supply, now 2.5 month supply. It's going to keep going this way for a bit, but nothing too crazy. Next slide. Sold, under contract, and back on market. Nothing's changed with properties going back on market. Look, just stable across the board. Under contracts have dipped a little bit, solds have dipped a little bit, but you're just going to see this naturally as we go through the seasonality of the holidays, okay? Next slide, please.
All right, BBA. Who here uses BBAs with all your buyers? Hey, not a lot. So going back to those NAR updates talking about commissions, we all should be able, like the back of our hand, be able to explain a BBA to a buyer. It goes back also to what your value prop is. You have to have the confidence and understand why someone should pay you and hire you and sign paperwork with you. We're professionals, we're consultants, we're experts at the market. We provide seamless transactions. We're even-tempered. We're knowledgeable. You've got to understand and write down what your value prop is, because then having these conversations is second nature, and we're not going to be steamrolled by people, right? I am providing services to you. I'm giving you my time, my knowledge, my expertise, all of this stuff. And so I need to understand that we're an exclusive agreement, and you need to understand what that means for you, right? Because I'm protecting both of us for consistency to get you to your financial and housing goals, right? So I want you all, and I challenge you all, to really focus on what your value prop is. And I feel more than ever that's so important right now, because you're going up against very seasoned agents, you're going up experts. Conversations are having to shift and switch a little right now regarding commissions. So I've created some really good talking points in regards to how to present this to a buyer. These are loaded in element. And with that being said, I would love to bring up Scott and Raina. We've been going over this a little bit in our winner's circle. I would love for you guys to come up and role play of what this would look like if you're sitting in front of a client. So Scott, I would love for you to be the agent.
Woo!
And Raina, you be the client. Can
Let's
you get
see
that
him.
catch box?
Oh, yeah. I'd love to get this in audio.
Thanks.
Oh, I know.
Right.
We'll get another one though for sure.
All right, Raina, thanks for meeting with me. I have a really important document I want to go over with you today so that we can get the home buying process on its way. Now, this document's going to be pretty standard with the home buying process. And it's really important because it outlines our relationship with each other, our working relationship with me as your real estate agent. It's called the buyer brokerage agreement. So, again, like I said, this is going to outline our relationship with each other, working with each other. So, one of the first important things is going to call our relationship exclusive. Now what this means is it's going to mean that I am going to do my best to get you the best deal for your home. It's going to also mean that I am doing the best to negotiate the best deal for you.
Okay.
So,
Is this a binding contract?
so it is a contract between you and I, okay? You know how I had you sign the duties owed?
Yeah.
That was your good faith to me, okay? So this is gonna be my good faith to you. Like I said, it's gonna mean that I have my full dedication and expertise, all reserved for you, okay? What it's also gonna do is it's gonna talk about a really important conversation that you and I are gonna have, my compensation, okay?
I
Now-
pay for that?
Now, let me explain, okay?
Okay.
Compensation, typically, the seller will pay for a buyer and a seller's agent,
Okay.
but not always. There are some cases in which they might only cover a percentage of what I charge for my commission. In that case, you just make up the remainder. Does that make sense?
A little. So they're going to be paying some of it, and then I'm going to pick up the rest?
Yeah, so they might pay the whole percentage, or they
Oh,
might
okay.
pay a certain percentage of it. It's all negotiable. Those are things that we can talk about when we get to that point. But I want to be completely transparent with you that there is going to be a compensation, because I am taking my full dedication, expertise, and time to best represent you.
Okay,
That
and
makes sense?
what if I don't want to work with you anymore, Scott? What if, like, you become unavailable and I see Jan Doe down the road and she can show me?
So that's a very great question. Now, I have a 100% cancellation guarantee in my business. So if we're not a good fit, and you feel like that you want to go and work with another agent, as long as you give me written notice within 24 hours that you made that decision, I can void that BBA like it was nothing.
Is there any fees
Fees with
for the
BBA?
cancellation?
Nope, no fees.
Okay. Okay, I feel comfortable.
Yeah, sounds
Beautiful.
good.
Thank you.
Okay, another thing I do want to mention, that there is a timeline that's going to be on the contract. This is basically going to be how long that contract's going to be in effect, okay? That's something that we can negotiate based on what needs you have and all that good stuff.
And then
Make sense?
again, if we're not a fit for each other, we can still cancel even if we're within that timeline?
Absolutely, absolutely.
Okay, okay.
Yeah, so take some time to review the BBA. Okay, make sure you understand everything on it. If you have any questions or concerns, please bring them up to me. I'm here to be completely open and have that honest line of communication with you. So,
Raina, hammer him on the commission and the transaction fee real quick.
What is this transaction fee? I see there's a $5.95 fee
that's
right
a great
here.
question. So, $5.95 transaction fee. That does not go to me. Okay. Now, my brokerage has to hold on to a bunch of paperwork for a ton of years. Okay. So
Okay.
that takes time and effort out of people's day. So that transaction fee goes to the brokerage so they can manage.
Is this annual?
No, that's a one-time flat transaction fee of $5.95.
Okay, and then I see here it's 3%. So if it's 2.5, I pay the other 0.5%?
Yeah. So if we go to a listing and the seller's going to be contributing 3%, You don't have to cover anything. If it's 2.5%, you just make up the difference. So it would be that 0.5%.
Okay, okay.
Roll the clock forward 4 years from now, the co-op is 0 in the MLS.
Yeah, okay, so, so Raina, the co-op on this listing is 0%, okay? In our buyer brokerage agreement, I did outline that my compensation is going to be 3%, so we have two options here. You can make up that 3% and pay me my commission, or we can go look for a different property where they're willing to pay a compensation for my commission.
Not to be too frank, Scott, but can you show me how you're worth that 3%?
What?
Can you show me how you're worth that 3% that I will be paying you?
That's a great question.
I'll give you this presentation of my checklist of services, and we'll go through it together, line item by line item, to show you why I'm worth the $20,000 you're going to pay me.
What he said.
What he said.
All right, guys, give them a big round. Seriously, that was good. That was good. The talking points are an element. You guys download them and look at them. Let's go to the next slide. Great job, guys. We're really proud of you.
Awesome. I love it. Again, wait, go back one more, please. So again, it's just to have an idea of how to explain this form. These forms are going to be something you're going to start having to use. Our broker, Sean, is really pushing it. Aaron has always pushed it. So you just want to understand what it is and how to talk through things. You don't need to memorize it. You just want them in your back pocket. And what they were talking about, guys, so here's the first page of the BBA. Here you can put that the buyer will pay 0% of the sell price and a 0% flat fee amount. And then here's our transaction fee, $595. The role play that Scott and Raina did is he put that no matter what, whatever the price of the home is, I'm going to get, he would put 3% there, right? So if the co-op is 2.5%, Raina would make up that 0.5. If the co-op is 1%, she'd make up the 2%. So you can outline in this BBA that no matter what, I'm walking away with 3% or a minimum of a flat fee of, let's say, $10,000. I'm not going to do anything if I'm not at least getting $10,000. And this outlines that you get paid whichever one is greater from 1 or 2. Yes, Miss Annie.
I was just gonna say, I know we have like a lot of crazy clients, but every day.
No, never.
Almost every day when we send settlement statements out, the buyers are always like, "What's this transaction fee? What is this?" And they're like, "My gosh, I never explained it."
Yes.
I know it's not the case, but just be really clear and transparent because oftentimes realtors just end up believing it because they don't even want to
Deal with it.
It becomes a very big headache at close when they say, you never told me that. Tell them up front multiple times and be very transparent.
And that goes on to our next
You can always have
slide.
an initial or two on the buyer broker agreement, just to be like, hey, it was obviously covered. So.
Have you had anybody,
Yeah.
so fast forward 4 years, they sign this, they don't want to pay you. You have duties owed, you show them the property, they don't want to pay the 3%. Like, how does that, how's that going to
Well, you could cancel the transaction, which really sucks.
Fiduciary duty is they want to buy that house.
Right.
I mean, there's.
So everybody at LVR right now is arguing about that. The forms, what should we say, how should we say it, what's antitrust, what's not now. They're trying to fight through it. I was talking to Rob Morgani for like 2 hours about it, and they're like, we're trying to figure it out. You can. Exactly. To be continued. Yeah, we'll let you know how to go about that.
That brings us to our next slide is you need to be very prepared to present to your buyers. These are all an element, but you can't say it enough. $595 transaction fee. Here's how my compensation works. Here's what your CIC capital contributions are going to cost. Here's your estimated net sheet. This has to be done on that first time because those small fees, that's when your clients effing go sideways if they're not educated and prepared for it.
And no joke, when I said what I just said in front of Scott and showed you guys this, it's the same as me going on a listing presentation. I'm going on a buyer's presentation now. All of these documents have been curated and put in Element for you guys to print. You make them your own. You show up to a buyer consultation with everything in here, your business card, all of the flyers, and a home buyer's guide, and you package this up and you sit in front of me and you tell me what you're worth, I'm going to sign that. Or you just roll up with some MLS sheets like all the other poor agents do. This is the difference, and this is what we want you to have stacked in your car now. Don't wait. You're going to be running around showing buyers. These are already prepared in your back seat with your listing presentations on a roll. We put a lot of time and effort into what the content is in these flyers so that you guys can just simply go through them and mark them off in all your consultations.
And please take my advice on this. I don't care if you assume your buyer has done this 10 times, 15 times, or first time. Treat everyone the same on that initial consultation. And then you can understand where their experience level is. I've heard from investors, oh, this agent didn't explain anything to me. They assumed I knew it. And now they're salty about it. I'm probably not going to go back to that person.
It's a terrible thing to have a transaction fee come up at closing, right? And make your client upset after 30, 40, 60 days of hard work of maintaining a relationship, and one little thing at the end, and now you don't get referrals, now you don't get reviews, now you don't get repeat business. Like, that's a stupid thing to stumble on, right?
Yeah.
Next.
All right. First of all, Matt Brewers, thank you for breakfast.
Thank you,
Can't
Matt.
wait to enjoy our burritos. So after we're done here, please enjoy some burritos and some chips and salsas from Augusta Tacos downstairs, and thank you very much.
Delicious, by the way. Yep.
All right.
Awesome.
So who do we want to pull up today?
We got our movement mortgage partners are going to come up for a quick roll on incentives. Are we coming up? Oh, sorry. Okay. So Matt, thanks for the food. We did want to go over some incentives with Movement Mortgage today. So I'm going to let Jennifer and Matt kind of go through a few varieties of what we have. Okay. And thank you everybody for your support as always.
Okay, guys. What we mainly want to talk about today is that due to the changing market conditions that are getting tougher and tougher every week as we move forward, it seems, we are have worked out that we're going to be able to do complete upfront underwriting for all of our clients that you guys refer to, for anybody really, that we're actually going to send us. We'll send the loan file in for underwriting, and underwriter is actually going to look at all the pertinent data, credit, and everything, and then give their approval. And what this quick turnaround time means is that since the underwriter, we're going to do our due diligence and send in everything that we can think of. So we're going to be very particular and ask for everything. The reason is that we're actually going to submit it to an underwriter. They're going to approve it with conditions, probably updated pay stubs and bank statements, something like this, and then you'll be able to take them shopping knowing with 100% confidence that once you get them into contract, we'll be able to close for sure. You can let the sellers know or the listing agent know as you submit your offers, look, our buyers have been through full underwriting, and as a result, once they're in contract, we should be able to get it closed within 14 to 21 days easy. Should be just waiting for an appraisal. We'll be collecting updated documents while we're waiting for it. Once that appraisal gets in, send it in underwriting, send it in for our clear to close.
On that point, the last deal I closed came down to underwritten pre-approval versus not, and that's what the difference.
The listing agents, if you guys are listing agents, I'm sure you're wondering the same thing. Every time that you accept an offer, are these people really qualified, right? Now you'll be able to really let them know, we're not just saying this, they've been through full underwriting.
Yeah, if you add us, copy us on the email to when you're the buyer's agent, to the listing agent, copy us, and we'll put in there, I reiterated to anyone that copies me, buyer's already been through underwritten approval. All we need are a couple conditions, we need appraisal, and we need a purchase agreement, and that's it. So if you guys add us, we will chime in, and listing agents are all over it because lending today is harder than it has ever been, and it is very well known out there right now. Lending is very hard.
It's tougher than after
it is
2006,
tougher
2007. I mean,
than anything.
It is, but at the same time, if we do our due diligence up front, we're closing quicker than we did before. So kind of the pre-approval versus TBD, I want to throw this in. When you get a pre-approval, cool. Go right back to one of these guys and get a TBD. A TBD just stands for, we're going to find out what the property address is later, but we're fully underwritten approved, so we can close in that 14 to 21 days, and it's a guaranteed close at that point, okay? So make sure you don't just take the pre-approval and walk it. Stay on your clients, get what they need over to the lender so the TBD can be issued. It's completely different than a regular pre-approval, all right? And then on your competitive incentives, we wanted to make sure that it's very clear that Go ahead. We offer what?
So we're going to offer, Movement Mortgage will contribute up to $1,500 towards your buyer's closing costs. And we also pay for the appraisal. Remember, we will credit them the appraisal at closing, okay? Up to $1,500, depending on loan amount, stuff like that. But
Well, it's a
it will be
couple things. It's loan amount is one, debt to income ratios are another. Are we taking it as a branch loan, or are we getting fully compensated as a regular commission where we can contribute more back to the buyer? So it's not like black and white. It's going to boil down to how well qualified the buyer is or isn't, but we have the ability to lean in and help the buyer no matter what. So that's what all these companies are doing, so we have those same incentives. And then for me and you working together as well, I'm offering my agents a reduced transaction fee to keep money in their pocket as well. We're all trying to make a portion of the transaction because that's vertical integration. That's how you run your teams, and everybody that you know in Vegas and outside of this country is all doing it. We're a little short on time, so we're going to keep things moving, but let's give our Movement Mortgage crew a little round.
Thanks. And Annie, Hadley, Mindy, thanks for being here. We always want to remind you why we should be using our lender partners. Oh, really quick, join Jen at 11:30 after this class for Mortgage 101. Thanks for hosting that class. We have many reasons why you should use our partners, and we just want to thank you all for sending them your continued business. We appreciate it. They appreciate it. We have marketing materials and so much more that they offer.
They do, and Mindy's here if you guys want to chat with her. Landmark Meadows is our title company here. Incentives for you guys to actually close deals with Landmark. You let me know. You guys get a reduced transaction fee as well. We have the top numbers over at Landmark. Let's keep it going. We're dominating platinum. We got Noah over there, Steve Hawks, all these other guys. You're doing a phenomenal job. Again, thank you for the partnership.
Yes, thank you very much. I'm very excited. So CSU Challenge for November, it's under contract units. There's going to be one winner, and you're going to be awarded a lifestyle photo shoot at Tivoli Village with MBF Photography. So I'm super excited for that winner. So focus on those under contract units.
So get it just contracts only. So you get contracts. Number one's heading out to Tivoli.
And here are 5 beautiful winners from October for most conversations, and they get to enjoy a business strategy dinner with Mr. Aaron Alessi.
We're all going out.
So
we're all going out. You ready? Okay. And then I'm not going to go through all our core values, but I'm just going to stop here. Number 5. Please do your best to stay disciplined in this next 3 months. It's going to dictate where you're going to land in early spring next year when the market conditions do start changing. So when you're feeling all comfortable in your bed, when it's cold out, and you don't want to make calls and you want to follow up, I'm going to tell you, remember my voice right now and get your asses up and stay on your numbers, all right? So far, so good for our October numbers. We came a little short in a couple areas, but we knocked it out of the park in other areas, and things are looking great. So you guys, great October. We're beating out a lot of other teams, so another applause for you guys. I'm going to let the operations manager take over these team rankings that we're discussing in our leadership meeting. Bill, lay it on us.
All right, so we are constantly on you guys about your numbers and prospecting and staying disciplined, right? Motivation is fickle, but if you're disciplined, you're going to succeed. And I want to talk about something, give you guys context of how just badass you guys are, okay? There are 3,107 teams in CSU across the country. That's 46,000 agents, okay? You can see down here our rank in all of these categories for the year, all right? And that puts us in the top 98% for conversations, the top 97% for buyer appointments met, top 99% for listing appointments met, not a big deal, and the top 96 for closed volume. So
woo.
I know
we're doing something right, gang.
I know sometimes the grind of real estate can feel like nobody cares, or you're all alone, you're on an island, right? And what am I doing this all for? I want you guys to know you guys are performing at the highest level when it comes to teams across the nation and high-level teams. CSU is a high-level technology that is adopted by high-performing teams, and we are doing great against great competition. And this number is only going to continue to grow, right? 6 months ago, that number was 2,600. Now it's 3,100. So let's stay at the top of those rankings. And where do we go from here? Where do you guys want to go from there?
Top 10.
Let's get in the top 20. Try that next. Top 10. Number 1 maybe? Right? Number 1? Yeah? All right, cool. I just want to say thank you guys. I look at all these numbers a lot, and that stood out to me. You guys are killing it, and I appreciate it.
Yes, great job. All right, a couple of highlights for this month, for what's left of this month. It's going by so fast already. We have buyer consultation tomorrow, so if you don't have those templates printed or you want some more tips and tricks on how to present them to your buyers, please join me tomorrow at 11 a.m. We change it from 1 p.m. to 11 a.m. We have specific KV Core training next Thursday. Yes?
So Megan, our account executive over at KV Core, has moved a lot of stuff around and did me a huge favor by putting these classes on for us. Please sign up, guys. Really good information on drip campaigns that everyone here could use, but we had to sign up, and she's like went out of her way and bent over because I called in a favor. So please sign up and take this class. It's going to benefit you a ton.
I already know the numbers of people who do and don't have drip campaigns set up, or how to improve them. Just go to Element, RSVP, and then go ahead and get your drip campaign set up for KV Core. You guys have been asking for the class. We busted our ass to get it set up for you. Now get in there, learn it, and it's super easy because they've made updates to it.
And you need to go in there and actually RSVP, because if they don't see attendance, they will cancel on us. So make sure, and I will let her know that we need to end a little early for potluck. Yes, on the 16th. We also
How
have,
important are drip campaigns? All right.
yeah. We also have potluck in the office. Jackie sent some emails out, so if you need a RSVP for that and want to bring some items, I put that link in the potluck as well. I'll let Megan at KV Core know we're going to dip out a little earlier so we can all enjoy some fun food here in the office.
And then the gray is CE. I partnered with a CE company for you guys. You get half off on your CE, so if it's coming up or you just want to get it out of the way, it's all on Zoom, 50% discount. You just got to sign in and all the information's there. Yes, Greg?
I'm due at the end of the year, the 30th. So can I get with that and just knock it out
Yes.
twice a week?
They call it CE knockout. He does it in 3 days and you're done.
How long a day is that?
You
can pick and choose any one of these, but you can jump in and basically do 8 in the morning till 2 p.m. and just go class after class after class, and your certificates are ready.
But it's all Zoom.
Can I pay him extra and not go to classes?
Zoom.
We'll text them and see.
Mike England will be here on the 30th to go over all tech and go in detail with his NetSheet app.
And then we got a mixer coming up as well at the end of the month, so we'll go out and have some fun, guys. Next slide.
Let's go for October awards.
Okay.
Are we ready?
I'm ready. I'm going to go through this real quick because of time, but we got Raina at the top for highest conversations. Go ahead. Yeah, let's do it. It's funny how the most conversations lead to the most appointments. You've heard me like a broken record, so again, Raina, good job. Greg Martin, 3 closed deals. Mary Werner at $1 million in volume. Good job. Greg Martin, top listing agent this month. And then rookie of the month, my man Rex over there, kicking ass and taking names. I have all of your certificates here. See me after the sales meeting today. Welcome to the inner circle. We've added, where is our 3? I'm off. Elton, Alexander, and Danielle Reyes are in the inner circle now. We'll let you know when the party is, so good job there. And then our final slide, I believe, is coming up. We want to do some cultural shout-outs. So all I want to hear from the group is a couple people just stand up and say, I'm thankful for this person being a coworker on my team, and this is what I love about them. And you can start it off at the top and throw that catch box at somebody.
Okay, I'm gonna give somebody a shout out here. Somebody that's committed to the system. Somebody that comes in and works hard. He works really hard. He improves his craft. I'm really proud to see the progress he made. Sorry, I'm getting a little emotional. But Scott, you're doing a great job.
Oh, Scott! Yay! I agree.
I see you grinding, and I see you getting results in. I know you're going to be better, and you're going to keep getting better. I'm excited.
We love you, Scott.
Well, cool, thanks. I appreciate that recognition. Bouncing off that, I have 2 guys I want to shout out. Rex and Victor our two very new but very ambitious agents. They push me to be better.
Aww.
They're coming in all the time. Victor is always texting me saying, hey, you're going to be at the office, let's make some calls. You know, we stay late, you know, and we get stuff done. So you two are great agents, and I can't wait to do some more deals with you.
I will do a shout out to Greg Martin. I had a lot of questions about listing appointments and how to get them better, and asked him about it, and he solved all the questions I had. So much love, bro.
Of course. I'm gonna do a shout out for Christian. His hunger always keeps me on my toes. I always say that Christian and Zach dominated, so if I'm above one of them in that leadership board, then I'm doing great.
Aww.
But their hunger and their perseverance and their resilience feeds me.
I love that.
And mine is right back to you, because you've been just crushing it, and she's
so
doing
proud
so
of you.
well with the consistency and perseverance that she's yelling at other agents on the team now. Okay, that's good. She's feeding the fire, and she's so good at it, so great job. And then I want to bring Eric from Rocket Lister and Sizzle Media up. Did you want to say anything?
No, actually, I just wanted to say, based on the October production, the top 2 agents for November, we'll set up a time, and we'll come and film you for free, create 2 or 3 professional videos, post on your social media, just as an additional spiff, you know?
Thank you.
Thanks, Eric. That's fantastic.
You pick the top 2 agents who deserve it.
Thank you.
Okay,
That's
awesome.
awesome.
Thank you. So, did you guys like the flow of our meeting today?
Yes.
We worked hard on it. Any other feedback is much appreciated. So let's get back on the phones. Let's keep crushing deals. I'm going to be around on all day on Friday for agent accountability meetings. Talk to you guys for one-on-ones, and then I'm updating the calendar. We're also putting about 30,000 homeowner leads in the KV Core. We are putting a cash offer pond in the KV Core. We are merging FSBOs and expireds into the KV Core pond amongst another grip of leads. Me and Buell are working on it this week, plus listing present material for you guys next month. So we're going to heavily start leaning on the listing side and roll all that to you this week, but we'll get out all the updates we were talking about, links. Just stay on it. Wake up in the morning, a little Sisu, a little KV Core, prospect your butts off, and then enjoy your time with your family that's coming up for the holidays, man. This is where we're at. You guys, again, thanks a lot. You have a
Enjoy
great
some
week.
breakfast. Thanks, Matt.
Yeah, get some food. All right, let's put some jams on and eat.
Thank
You're
you.
welcome. Thank you. And if you want to look at the buyer's presentation, I laid it out. Laid it out for you.
And do the Harlem Shake.
All right, Eric, thank you for everything. We'll get started with this. And fire, right? Yeah. We usually have double the people, but I think they're starting to sleep in again. You know how that goes. So, yeah. I talked to my team about the clothes. It's definitely a comedy deal. Yep. I'm about to. Yeah. Just how we partner with like and landmark and sign something that want to partner with us, turn around and apply that to our agent. So that's perfect because I just sent out Ace Manor does mine. And I've been with them for years, but they're not like partners. They're just the people I've been with. Sure. I'll send you